The following is a presentation of the Nerd Complex Podcast Network.
You are listening to Audio Suplex Live. Yo, 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 yo. It's crime time.
I would watch this show so
Hard.
much more if it was actually hosted by Crime Time and not us slop jalops.
We could get like a crime time gimmick.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not up to much these days. It probably wouldn't be much. We have Big Fish Rembowski
Who?
in the studio with us today.
The biggest fish I know.
Hello, hello.
You would have insight. Do you think Crime Time would be too expensive to get in here to
Have on the show.
host? No, just host it. We'll take it.
To
We'll
host?
take a week off. They can just host Audio Suplex Live for a week.
It would cost you,
Yeah.
but like we were saying before the show started, wrestlers would do just about anything for money.
we
So
were talking about that
if
with
you give them a price.
Yes, they will literally do anything for money, which is great. This is why we love it. So we are here. We're back after 2 weeks. It has been a crazy couple 2 weeks off because in between that we've had
So much wrestling too.
the last episode you guys had was our WrestleMania preview special, and then obviously we've had WrestleMania and NXT Takeover and all the fallout from the Superstar shakeup that has happened afterwards. A lot of stuff going on with that we'll kind of get into. We'll break down our thoughts briefly about WrestleMania Takeover, Superstar shakeup. I want to see how you guys feel about some of the roster moves that they made in the WWE, and then we're going to jump in a little bit into the 50-man Royal Rumble because it's coming up, I believe, next Friday. Is it?
The greatest Royal Rumble. It's on Friday.
It's on Friday. The greatest Royal Rumble, kind of a crazy card, top to bottom on this one.
Yeah, it's a big card too. It's
Yeah.
like a big 4 pay-per-view.
Yeah,
type
they're
card.
really kind of like promoting this event as like a huge deal. They have a whole custom set for it and everything. I don't know if you guys have seen pictures of it on online or anything like that.
It looks like a WrestleMania set.
Yeah, they're going all out for this one. They're making it into a huge event. So,
Man, I wish they said how much money they're getting paid. I can't remember what it was, like $400 million or so. I don't know.
that's crazy.
I don't know if that's
To run a show
some
in-
ridiculous number of money.
To run a show in Saudi Arabia. What if it was completely entirely just like bankrolled by some
Run it.
some money mark out there that just has like a ton of money and just like, you know what, I want a WWE show here, and just like privately funded it himself.
It's possible.
That'd be super. What if it's a Great Khali?
It is a great.
It's
Khali.
actually him
It'd
He's
probably
from
be in the
India.
Punjab province if he did. So.
off of his liquor store money, because I have it on good authority that he owns a liquor store. It's like what he does.
All right.
Yeah.
Have really
That's what
high
I would
shelves.
So anyway, Corey,
Hey,
Big Fish,
Big Fish is here.
how do you guys feel about WrestleMania and the weekend surrounding it?
NXT Takeover was amazing.
Yes,
WrestleMania was pretty good.
pretty good. I thought WrestleMania was really good, man. The only real gripe I have with WrestleMania this year is the same gripe that I have with every WrestleMania. It's too damn long.
It was very long.
Too damn long. I know you guys want to get as many people on the show as humanly possible, and to their credit, it was a long show from start to end, including the pre-show. Trust me, we watched the entire thing together at the Beer Stube. It was fantastic. To their credit, they really amped up the wrestle part of WrestleMania this year, though. There was not like a lull in the card as far as like a match. Like they didn't have Kid Rock come out and do like a goofy performance or something like that. They didn't have, Flo Rida or anything like that, or any of the other stable of
They
musicians.
did have musicians though, didn't they?
They didn't really have any like musical acts whatsoever.
I know NXT did. I think.
Yeah, NXT had a band that opened the show. They had those girls who sang "America the Beautiful" at the beginning of WrestleMania, but that was really it.
Oh.
Unless you count, the only like weird, goofy little non-wrestling segments were John Cena in the crowd, like doing his whole like "I am John Cena" with a beer thing, and then him running backstage like he forgot to turn the oven off or something like that, which is like my favorite John Cena look of all time. That like, oh god, I gotta go kind of look. And then like the Braun Strowman segment where he went out and got
That took too long.
a random kid to go be his tag partner.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
As he finds the kid after he walks right by No Way Jose.
Yeah, but he walked by like not only so he walked by No Way Jose. I think we saw Tyler Bate and I think Wolfgang, like some of the UK guys that they have on the roster, were there as well in that frame. And it's like, dude, you literally just walked past like 6 legit wrestlers, like right there. You couldn't have picked one of them. Then instead we get Nicholas.
He didn't need them.
He didn't need them, and I think that was the point. He needed referee John Cone's kid.
Are you sure that wasn't Ace Miles?
We were not actually. How do we
know they're not the same person?
I've never seen Nicholas and Ace Miles in the same room at the same time.
I would argue that no one has ever seen them in the same room at the same time.
Good to say. Who is to say?
Who's to say?
So anyway,
all right.
So WrestleMania was a pretty good show. I think to echo the sentiment of most of the reviews that I've seen on WrestleMania and most of the insight I've taken in since then, Rousey and Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie was much better than it had any right to be.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It really did wonders for Ronda Rousey and really kind of like dispelled any of the rumors or any of the speculation that she wasn't ready to go.
She looked great.
She looked great. She looked like a million bucks. She looked like the superstar, the crossover superstar that WWE wants her to be.
Yep.
I was blown away.
Yeah. Well, how many times during like the build up to Mania, because we host Monday Night Raw at the Beer Stoops, how many times would you hear people come in who weren't necessarily familiar with wrestling, and they would see a Ronda Rousey segment, and that would get the conversation going. They would start talking about wrestling. They would, what is she doing in WWE? This is crazy. What's going on? Isn't this, fake or whatever? Like, but then like the conversation would start to like, they would watch the match or they would watch the segment, and then they would get invested, and there it is. People, it's working.
I was confident that was going to be my bathroom break and get a snack match. But then I just started watching it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is actually good."
Yeah, it was one of the better matches of the night.
The crowd,
I'd say second best.
Wow, yeah.
The crowd that we had on hand in the Beer Stube, like in terms of like audible response to a match, that was probably the loudest. And we had
Dan Bryan one was the loudest.
Yeah. I mean, but that obviously we have a very smarky crowd that tends to flock to wherever we're doing our events at and stuff like that. But just like to hear the audible, it was a natural, like, you expect wrestling fans to pop for Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
You didn't expect everybody in that bar. We had probably about 7,500 people in there.
Probably over 100 people.
Yeah, over 100 people. And everybody was popping for Ronda Rousey. My present company included. It's a fantastic match. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, I think my match of the weekend.
A war.
An absolute war. Just a devastating, hard-hitting affair. I think that match was everything that feud needed it to be.
Yep.
Especially with the kind of lackluster that they had for Ciampa when he came back at TakeOver Philadelphia. Like, it was kind of let down by the way that they brought him back into the picture and brought that story kind of back up to speed. But I think they righted the ship with that match at TakeOver New Orleans. Corey.
My match of the weekend?
Yeah.
I would probably say Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano. I agree. Although the six-man ladder match for the North American Championship was also very, very entertaining.
Two Meltzer 5-star rated matches on one card there, so
they're also both heel Corey 5-star rated matches.
Really?
Yeah.
Much more prestigious than the.
Yeah.
And you only gave Omega Okada 3 stars, I think it was?
I don't even rate any matches that don't happen in the United States.
Unbelievable.
They don't qualify for his scale.
Yeah, no, he's notoriously
North American only.
North American exclusive. He only
Japan.
consumed Japan wrestling whatsoever.
No, I don't rate that.
Try as I have to get him into Japanese wrestling. Can't get into it. Can't sink his teeth.
No, I can watch it. It's good.
He still thinks John Morrison is the greatest wrestler of all time.
He may be.
Big Fish, what are your takeaways from Mania weekend? You got a MVP or a match of the weekend?
My match of the weekend is definitely Asuka versus Charlotte.
Fantastic. Such a good match.
Because and I hate to say this about myself, but when the women's revolution started, it was still kind of my, like I said, bathroom break snack match. Mm-hmm. I've been casually rolling along, getting to like these matches more and more. But that match was amazing. It
was incredible.
Mm-hmm. I think as much as the big stage of WrestleMania adds in the actual work in the match, that's got to be the best one-on-one women's bout of all time.
Yeah, no, hands down.
Especially the moonsault into the triangle choke. I literally jumped out of my chair. I felt like a child watching that match. I haven't felt much like that in years.
It almost kind of feels like one of those just classic WrestleMania matches now. Like I would even like say it's in the Parthenon with like Andre Hogan, or like, put it up there with Steamboat and Savage.
Taker Sean.
Yeah, Taker Sean. Like, it's just one of those, like,
Wow.
It is hands down probably the best women's match ever produced in any promotion, show, anywhere. It's fantastic. Absolutely incredible.
There might be some way, someone might have worked a match better.
Right.
Move for move. But did they do it at WrestleMania?
No. Did they have the entrance that Charlotte did with the she stole Dalton Castle's boys for the weekend and just brought them over to the Superdome or whatever? Silverdome? Which one is it?
Superdome.
Thank you.
Silverdome, brother.
Thank you, brother. I do have to give
Holy shit.
I do want to give an MVP.
Do not cough into the microphone.
I do want to give an MVP award for the weekend. I think my MVP of the entire weekend, it's kind of a collective. I want to say that the Undisputed Era came out of that weekend looking like $1 million.
Yep.
Not only do you have Adam Cole going over as the first ever North American champion for NXT, you have the title retain and the heel turn with Roderick Strong joining the Undisputed Era as well. But that's also like the weekend that kind of started getting people more invested in Kyle O'Reilly as well. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen all of the viral videos and everything like that going around of Kyle O'Reilly's
his reactions
and his mannerisms. That whole group is just poised for huge things. And once they get Bobby Fish back into the fray, I would like to see some dramatic expansion for that as well. Like, get that as like WWE's answer to the Bullet Club or like
NWO.
Yeah, something like that. So, that being said, before we transition to this greatest Royal Rumble, who is somebody that is currently in NXT that you could see joining the Undisputed Era should they expand and add additional members?
Peter England.
Pete Dunne.
I would like to see Pete Dunne join eventually. Even though I know that's who they just beat the crap out of. But
just the way they're doing it, because I feel like they're gearing that group towards the super indie fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the guys who, I'm going to watch PWG, I'm going to watch Ring of Honor every night kind of deal. Even though it would be weird to put him with other people because it wouldn't make sense for the money, I could see Ricochet at some point.
Ricochet?
Because he's part of that super indie love as well.
I was thinking get like a girl in the group would be really cool, so that way they can like truly dominate the division. There's not really anybody down there that I think could really handle it. But
doesn't really fit.
They were doing stuff with what is her name? Taira Conte from the Mae Young Classic. They were doing stuff with her earlier on, like on house shows and stuff like that. But I think maybe like a Shayna Baszler or something like that, and just truly like dominate all of the gold down there would be a super good move for them. I would love to see something.
I don't know
like
if
that.
Shayna Baszler would be a good fit though.
As kind of like the China-esque enforcer of the group, I could see that.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I could see that.
Yeah, but
because Adam Cole already has like all those Shawn Michaels mannerisms anyway. You might as well just go ahead and get full blown China and go early DX on us with it.
Doom, 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 doom.
So,
hooray!
Moving forward, Corey, I know you want to get into the greatest Royal Rumble. I know you're pretty excited.
Yeah, let me pull up the list of guys that are in the Rumble real quick because they have announced a whole heap and mess of them.
So a little bit of background on the information on the show while you're looking that up. It is a Royal Rumble, I guess, network special. I guess would be the best way to really kind of present this. So, because it doesn't feel to me like they're promoting it as like an actual pay-per-view. Like the traditional like monthly pay-per-views that they would like. But at the same time, it doesn't also feel like how Beast in the East did or the first Roadblock where they were just like one-off network specials.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I have the full list here. This is crazy. I didn't realize they've only announced 18 of the 50 officially. And they've actually, Bray Wyatt was originally in it. They pulled him out of it because he's in the tag team title match. So apparently guys aren't doing double duty. So I don't know how they're going to come up with 50 guys. Let's see here. First person announced was Dan Bryan, Big Show, and Braun Strowman. Those are the first three. Kurt Angle, Apollo Crews, Titus O'Neil, Elias, Goldust, Mojo Rawley, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, Chad Gable, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Shelton Benjamin, Sin Cara, and Chris Jericho. Those are all of the announced participants. I don't know, it could be anybody. They haven't announced what you win. There's no prize yet announced. I think Braun Strowman probably is going to walk away with this.
It would make a lot of sense if they want to continue his momentum. Yeah, I mean he's not really doing a whole lot right now.
Who else could you see it being?
He's been working as a babyface on like the latest house shows that they've been doing. There's been like a lot of photos coming out with like him and Roman Reigns and Finn Balor teaming up together as like a trio.
Especially with the whole thing. Sorry to go back to WrestleMania. The whole thing with the kid at WrestleMania.
Oh, with Nicholas.
Yeah, they're
Super
going to try to
babyface
make that
monster.
John Cena money with Braun.
With Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
I could see it. He's marketable as hell, and
I have 3 of his shirts, so it's working.
Yeah.
He's got more money from me than any other wrestler in WWE.
I just can't wait for the inevitable turn on him when fans realize that they are going to be pushing him in that direction.
And they're like,
and everybody's like, wait a minute. Nope, we don't like this. And then everybody jumps off the Braun Strowman train. I'm going to stay on.
I don't think that's going to happen, though. Honestly, because people are already on the train. It's the people like Ruth Roman. They weren't necessarily even on the train to begin with, and like saying, Vince is like, "Hey, get on the train." We're like, "No." Whereas with Braun, we're already on the train.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk us into getting on the train. We're already on the train.
He had me. When did Braun Strowman have you? Like, when did Braun
When
Strowman?
he flipped Roman Reigns off of that platform while he was strapped to the stretcher. That's when he had me.
We hadn't seen anything like that in so long on WWE television.
I'm not finished with you yet.
And then just throws him off of the loading dock. Like,
I'm not finished with you.
It's just,
That's right.
That was the moment where I just like got hard eyes emoji and was just like, I am all in on this guy. Run it. As long as he just like yells and flips stuff over,
yeah,
I'm cool.
The yelling was big.
It's a simple formula.
It was like watching SmackDown on UPN. When I was 7 again.
Like the crazy.
That is exactly what it felt like.
It was just chaos.
Yes.
And it was like, is he? Oh, he's done now. I mean, he flipped the ambulance. They're gonna cut. They're gonna cut to something else. It comes back. I think it continued through commercial. Didn't they come back through commercial and he was still beating the hell out of him?
Yes.
Backstage?
Sure, yeah.
It was the comedic timing in that segment. Like they knew they were going to have a lot of people with that, but I don't think they understood how huge it was going to be. But the comedic timing just drew me in because you just start laughing at the absurdity of it.
Yep.
And then you just keep laughing because it just keeps piling on the absurdity. And that's what I love about Braun Strowman. He's just like the most absurd thing of absurd things.
I like how they it felt like one of the old Austin segments where, you know, if you own any vehicle near an arena, the WWE is showing up at, just don't leave keys near it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he could take your Zamboni, your beer truck, your concrete mixer. He could take anything. Mm-hmm. And Braun, he can flip anything.
That's right. He doesn't even need the keys.
If he flips a bulldozer on Monday Night Raw, I'll be about it.
Just lose my mind. I just
What
want
if he flipped Rusev's tank? Like Rusev comes out to face Taker, and then Braun comes out and flips the tank.
Oh my god,
that would get him over.
I just want to see him. He's already over like Rover. It's insane.
I know.
Mm-hmm. So aside from the 50-man Royal Rumble, obviously I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. Rey Mysterio's, I think
there's going to be a lot of crappy wrestlers in this Rumble as well.
I think you're going to have a couple of.
I think Heath Slater's probably going to be in it 5 times. He's 5 of those 50 is Heath Slater.
They could pull.
Heath Slater had the best spot in the last Rumble.
What spot is that? 27.
No. I mean the best, like most entertaining spot when everyone kept beating him up on the way to the ring. That was awesome.
That was good. I don't know the spot where they all jumped John Cena as soon as he came in was really good too.
Yep.
Because he had his like AJ Styles, Nakamura, like everybody just like gang up on Cena. That was super good.
We hate Cena.
The spot with Cena and the Hurricane.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Literally fantastic.
That Hurricane coming out was pretty cool.
It was good.
Oh yeah.
That was good. That was a good fun pop. So, yeah, I think a lot of NXT guys, maybe even some of like the developmental guys that we haven't really seen on TV a lot.
That's
I know
possible.
They're getting ready to re-debut. Kona Reeves is going to be making his way onto NXT TV pretty soon here. with like a kind of like a revamped character.
It'd be an interesting. I wonder how long the entrance ramp is for this thing.
Massive. I hope it's like
If it's really long, they can just the announce team, because those guys aren't going to last very long in the Rumble. But the entire walk down to the ring, they can just like give us all the details of this guy. Like, hey, here's his backstory.
We get like a full entrance, the whole 9, dude.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, that guy looked pretty cool before he got thrown out right away.
How many $1 million are they getting paid for this event? You said
I thought it was like
400
million.
400 million. There had better be pyro at the show.
I think they're doing pyro.
Oh man, I miss pyro so badly.
Maybe the beginning pyro, like, welcome to the Arabian Rumble, greatest Rumble.
The Arabian Rumble.
Boom.
The oil rumble is what I like to call it.
There you
Ooh.
go. They're
Touchy.
probably paying for it in oil.
That's very possible.
Like I said, I think it's like I think it's a billionaire playboy out there, a Punjabi playboy, if you will, who got bored and decided he wanted a WWE show for his birthday.
You think it's the Punjabi Playboy?
Yeah.
I don't think it's him.
No, he's too busy running a liquor store in like Houston, Texas, or something like that. I promise you, I think that's what he actually does.
Man, could you imagine?
You just walk in
as a teenager trying to go in there and not get carded, and there's this monster of a human being.
Former WWE champion, Great Khali, comes out and just the cranium slap or whatever that he used to do. I can't remember.
I'd probably view him as this role from The Longest Yard, where you're just like, "Hey, can I please get a bottle of Captain?"
Oh man,
I cannot find how much.
that checks out.
So
So,
I heard that.
in addition to this 50-man Rumble, we also have a couple other
Every
matches
title-
on the card. Every title will be
Every
defended
title.
at this event. Brock versus Roman Reigns in a steel cage. Kind of interesting. Kind of pulling out all the stops for this one
for no reason.
for no apparent reason.
What do you got? Reigns.
This is where they pull the trigger.
I think Brock might still win.
No,
So Brock can beat CM Punk's title reign.
this is where they still. Nope, they still. This is where they pull the trigger.
All right. And then Samoa Joe loses to Roman at Backlash? Is that? Because Samoa Joe is facing Roman Reigns at Backlash.
Yeah, Samoa Joe's gonna lose.
Yeah,
That's-
no.
Wow.
He ain't beating.
Yeah. Well, especially now that Samoa Joe's on SmackDown, and he's not going to beat him for the Universal Championship and bring it to SmackDown. with
I
him.
know. Roman's not going to have the Universal Championship.
Roman wins at this Royal Rumble match or at this Royal Rumble show, and Roman wins again. Put it in stone.
It makes sense.
I want
what you're
Braun
saying.
to beat Brock for the title. So Braun wins the greatest Royal Rumble, gets the title match against Brock. Braun beats Brock with the help of Nicholas. Nicholas is the special guest referee. His dad's a ref.
You give WWE Creative way too much credit for that. That's way too intricate.
Bro, it's a house show. They do crazy shit.
It's not a house show, though.
It is, though.
That's what we're trying to...
I see it as a international event.
Yeah.
Like, we're promoting they're almost acting like it's the Olympics, like Beijing.
Can you imagine
Rio de
doing a
Janeiro,
wrestling
kinda
Olympics? That would be so cool.
Like a pro wrestling Olympics.
Like all around the world, you come and compete at this big tournament.
Except it's a work, so...
Is there an
Well,
event
still,
where you
that'd
hit
be
people with
sweet.
fishing poles? Because
Yeah.
I would be a gold medalist.
Yeah.
That's right. The fishing pole Olympics.
We got a fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Championship. Seth
Ladder
Rollins. Ladder match. Finn Balor, Samosif Joseph, and The Miz, who, God, I hope he gets that belt back, and God, I hope he runs with it.
So you think the
No, it's not going
IC belt's going to SmackDown?
No, not with Jeff
I
Hardy.
mean, Jinder
being on.
could win from Matt Hardy or Jeff Hardy and bring that U.S. title back to Raw. It could
That would be
happen.
kind of interesting. Switch the belts
It
around,
could.
have the
They could
Intercontinental.
switch it again. Yeah.
That would be a good way. A good
Because really,
clever
Samoa
way.
Joe or Miz winning brings the IC belt to SmackDown. So if that happens, then for sure Mahal beats Jeff Hardy. There's no way they're going to have both belts on one show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if they both go to SmackDown.
Right. I think Rollins is going to retain.
Yeah, his fan base
It
would,
would
be
be
up in arms
cool.
if he didn't.
What if Joe won?
Yep.
You have Joe win the belt, right?
Yeah,
So everyone thinks Mahal's going to win, but Hardy wins. So they have both belts on SmackDown until Backlash when Joe faces Roman Reigns for the IC belt and Roman wins it back. That's too much.
What? I'm not ready to go down this rabbit hole with you.
It's too much. All right.
Any other matches on the card that we really? Okay, so we got
we can
AJ
go
Styles
real quick. AJ Nakamura rematch. We assume AJ probably
retains here. Yeah.
Until Backlash, because there's a triple threat: AJ Nakamura, Dan Bryan at Backlash, if I'm not mistaken.
As long as I see massive amounts of crotch punches, I will be happy with that.
Crotch
match.
punches all the live long day.
The first man to hit 5 crotch punches wins the match.
No speak English.
I like this new Nakamura gimmick where it's like doesn't speak English.
I love that. I love
you.
he's like, I'm sorry, I don't speak English.
Punches you in the
1-minute promo.
Did you see him on Twitter?
He punches you in the cock.
Did you see him on Twitter?
There, I've officially got it on the show.
We went over this. That was like the one word I was not allowed to say.
Well, I told Corey that I
coccyx?
I told Corey that I had said it on the show before. He didn't believe me, so now I just said, just in case, this is probably my second time doing it, but now it's officially on there. Yeah. Don't get too cocky, guys.
Man, I gotta find. Nakamura tweeted something in English, and someone's like, "Oh, I think it was Corey Graves was like, oh, you learned English. It's a miracle." And then he tweeted back at him in Spanish.
Let's go. I love it. The new team of Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt versus The Bar for the vacated Raw Tag Team titles. I don't see this going anywhere except for Hardy and Wyatt.
Yeah.
Especially now with The Bar.
Absolutely.
That's the thing that sucks about having so many of these matches set up for this before the shakeup finalized, because now some of these moves have basically telegraphed the finish of the matches already. Like, you know, they're not going to have both tag titles on SmackDown.
Right.
So I don't know.
SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
That's where all the tag teams are. There's no tag teams on Raw anymore.
Do either of you guys feel like Raw got fleeced,
dude,
in this Superstar shakeup? So
when we watched Raw at the Beer Stube, and I'm like, dude, there's no one left on SmackDown. SmackDown's getting raped here.
Yeah.
Even though it was all crappy wrestlers, no one huge. But I'm like, man, SmackDown got shafted. And then you watch SmackDown, and it didn't really happen until about halfway through SmackDown that they started getting all these big names. You're like, holy crap.
Yeah, brought up Sanity. Andrade Cien Almas is now on SmackDown.
Samosa Joseph. When he came out. Holy cow.
Who did Raw
Jeff
lose?
Hardy. Raw lost
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe,
The Miz.
The Bar.
The Bar. Gallows and Anderson.
Gallows and Anderson are coming over to SmackDown.
Shoot.
SmackDown just became like really good.
It's like the old
roster.
SmackDown.
It's the wrestling show.
It is.
It's the wrestling show as opposed to.
I think they might get that now.
Yeah, and they also, not to mention, you now have Daniel Bryan making a transition to full-time competitor.
Yeah.
So
it's the show to watch for sure.
So good.
Everyone on SmackDown now is pretty much established. You don't have as many unestablished guys who weren't really doing anything, whereas Raw took the Fashion Police who weren't really doing anything. The Ascension absolutely wasn't doing anything. Mojo Rawley, Zack Ryder, all these guys who have really just Mike Kanellis. Not been on TV.
So like
not a star.
Raw got quantity, but
So
SmackDown got so much in the way of quality.
Hopefully Raw can build these guys up. From being on Raw.
Which is a good formula for them because Raw has an extra hour. So you can get some of these guys like the Fashion Police and
that is a good
not Jason Jordan, but Chad Gable now who's on Raw. Like you can get these guys more TV time on Raw and kind of maybe give them more of a chance to get over with the crowd. And then once they're established, boom, send them to SmackDown, make that the wrestling show.
SmackDown's the wrestling show. You don't need the frills or anything. You can compact it into 2 hours kind of nicely.
I want my Tuesday nights to be just 2 hours of just like wrestle.
Yep.
I'm hype. Let's go.
I'm excited.
AJ Styles, Nakamura, and Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe on the same show at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Big Cass is up there.
And
too.
The Miz.
Big Cass.
Dude, it's stacked. And then the only other match I want to talk about on this card is the Taker versus Rusev casket match.
Oh, yes.
Originally, Taker versus Rusev, which one was like a thing where everybody's like, what the hell? And then like everyone's like, okay, cool, I'm behind this, let's go. And then they changed it to
Jericho.
Taker versus Jericho. And then I guess through the backlash of that and like the fans being vocal about it, they put Rusev back in the match now. So
I think we all know.
Yeah.
So Jericho was on a podcast and they asked him like, "Hey, so why did it get switched back?" And
I still can't believe that you listen to any podcasts that aren't ours.
He completely avoided the question. He's like, "I'm just real excited. I'll probably be in the Rumble." He did not talk about why. And the guy's like, "So why did it get switched back?" And he just completely avoided it. I specifically watched it. I was like, "Oh, I want to hear what he said." He didn't say anything. He avoided it.
Did they get you with like one of those like BuzzFeed like clickbait things like Chris Jericho shoots on what really happened with the greatest Royal Rumble? Click here to find out more. And then you click here and it's like he gives like a non-answer.
I think they're gonna make us watch Rusev get buried.
Yeah.
They want us to not love him so bad that they're like,
so
you want to love him?
Hopefully he gets buried softly. Bury me softly, brother.
He beat Cena in 2 minutes and something at WrestleMania. Rusev's not going to fare as well, probably.
Less than 2 minutes? I don't think anyone's lost a casket match that fast. It's not a buried alive match. It's a casket match.
Still.
They'll probably find a way to actually physically bury him in the process.
In sand.
Throughout the night, they'll just have Taker dragging his casket into like the desert and just covering it in sand. Just like in between like every 3 or 4 matches, they'll just go, well, we now go back to Undertaker, who is in the middle of the Saudi Arabia desert.
He's been digging for 4 hours. This sand really just kind of goes right back in the hole.
And the Undertaker has struck oil, folks.
Congratulations. WWE is now the wealthiest company in existence. They have now bought every independent wrestling promotion under the sun. WWE owns wrestling.
They bought Fox.
They bought Fox. They bought They bought The Rock and John Cena. They actually own them both now. It's crazy. So, moving into the it's been a long time since I dropped this meat and potatoes of our episode this week.
Meat.
Big Fish, welcome to Audio Suplex Live, man. Thank you for your wonderful insight into all the happenings in WWE.
Yep. Thank you.
You know a lot about the Middle East, and so you're able to give us some insight on how wrestling works there. So thank you.
I think it doesn't exist there. I mean, it might. I don't know.
No,
they had a bunch of
they're
tryouts.
Doing tryouts. It's got to exist there. It has to. I don't know how it
I want to see some
works, but
I got to get on the deep, dark YouTube after this show and see if I can find some like Middle Eastern wrestling,
all
like
I know
indie wrestling
about wrestling out in the Middle East was those old, almost USO style shows they did on Christmas with SmackDown. Back in the day,
like the tribute to the troops and stuff like that.
Yeah, back when they were in Iraq and Afghanistan or whichever country that was over there.
yeah.
Which wouldn't even really be a match when they would do those matches. It would be like some like foreign heel coming out in Big Show, just like squashing them in like 2 minutes, and then everybody just.
Is that really what it was?
A lot of those matches that were on those cards,
patriotic.
yeah, they were like booked to be like you.
But
you
they actually had foreign heels, like they found some guys
I'm
in the
sure-
street
I
of
almost
Afghanistan. Like,
don't-
hey,
Did they use the guy?
I have to look back through my tribute to the troops history, but I'm almost certain at one point when La Resistance was on the roster, they had them come out and cut a promo at one of these USO shows, and I like Big Show or something like that, like came out and like basically squashed them both, and it just all ended in like Kid Rock playing and just people pumping their fists in the air and just.
Didn't they use Muhammad Hassan on one of those?
I'm sure.
I would like to think that they would have the tact not to.
Come on, man.
That Italian wrestler,
have an Italian
Muhammad
wrestler,
Hassan.
wrestling, man.
Yeah, but then again, knowing they also had the tact to bring you Katie Vick, so at this point, nothing you could tell me anything about WWE's
I heard
history.
she's going to be put in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I heard she's going to be in the
she's
50-man Royal Rumble.
Actually, about that Rumble, let me. I might get myself in.
Yeah,
There are slots.
There's only,
they're not filling up very fast because no one wants to go to Saudi Arabia.
You got your passport?
No. I need to get one, but
Well, luckily, I heard you can get there via waterway, so you can actually just big fish your way over there.
That's true.
There we go.
See the image for the episode to see how it would work.
Yeah, that's precisely that is.
Why is that
Big
woman
Fish.
so much smaller than you?
because I'm swole, man. I'm huge.
Big Fish.
I'm huge.
I like that hardware you have around your waist there.
Yeah.
Newly crowned.
in the photo. You don't have it on now, do you?
No.
Do you sleep with it?
No, it's gently resting on my lazy boy at the house.
That's nice. That's nice. Do you know which one? Do you have Ace's belt or do you have Sam's belt? Do you know?
I honestly don't have a clue, but I really hope that I have Sam's belt.
Well, one of them has a little dent, a slight somewhere on it. I saw it. That one is Sam's.
I'll have to look.
I can
So if you don't have any
consult the photos.
on the big belt itself, on the big plate.
I must have Travis's then.
Yeah, that's the one you
I
want,
gotta
right?
have
Oh no, Travis's has the dent on it.
Oh, Travis's has the dent.
Or
How do you know?
Ace's has the dent on it. Come
How
on,
do
man,
you
keep
know?
the fade a little bit.
You can see the dent.
Yeah, you can literally see the dent in this photo at the top middle of
Oh,
the belt. Yeah.
Sorry,
Dude. Oh, so you got Sam's belt.
Sam's.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Sam Beal, if you're listening, Big Fish has your belt. Well, I guess it's his now,
It's
but
definitely his belt.
So tell us about how it feels to be NOW Tag Team Champion.
It's actually great. You know, I've been. If you guys saw that promo we released after we won the titles, and I took a more serious turn, as you know, I've been busting my ass in this company for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't have sour grapes about that statement is true. Mm-hmm. I've been with NOW for a while. I'm not an NOW original because I wasn't at the first couple of shows, but I've been there for a while, and for a long time, you know, it was, hey, Big Fish, you're in this Fatal 4-Way. Hey, Big Fish, you're in the Battle Royal. Or, hey, I got a pre-show match for you. But now, ever since we got the whole Wet Dream thing together and Robert's taken notice to me and Aaron, Daniel Winchester's talents, and included us in this great tag team division that he's building, it's just been on the up and up since there. And I saw it as, and this is a statement of fact and true, if you want to get over at NOW or throw yourself into the fray, you beat up the Natural Aces.
That's right.
Like, I mean,
Oh, yeah. I almost
what
wore my
you do.
IndyCard Mafia shirt today. Almost.
Man, they're good now, but man, they put a beating on those boys.
Those were some good
I would like to
matches.
aspire to such.
Yeah,
Oh man.
some entertaining matches.
Oh yes.
Well, now we'll look forward to some classics of you beating up, hopefully specifically Ace Miles.
As somebody who does
Has to be Ace.
as somebody who films a lot of NOW stuff and who provides commentary for these matches, one of my favorite things in the world to do is watch the Aces just get beat up. It's fantastic. It's
Specifically Ace Miles.
oh,
right?
specifically
My
Ace,
least
like,
favorite wrestler, Ace Miles. Least favorite.
least favorite.
He is my least favorite professional wrestler. His name is Ace Miles. My least favorite wrestler.
Professional wrestler, and we use the term professional lightly here. Like, I mean, it's,
Amateur.
when
at
we
best.
say professional wrestler, we're talking about, like, you know, that puts him in the same Parthenon as like a Stone Cold Steve Austin or
right.
something like that.
You're
Like
right.
that's the
I
same
take
job
back-
title.
I take back referring to him as such.
Yeah, he's your least favorite. I don't know. You've got heat with Ace. I like
He's
that.
the worst.
Yeah.
Sam's all right.
But we're
I
not
don't
here.
like him.
We're not here to talk about the Natural Aces. We could spend an entire episode burying the Natural Aces. That's not why we're here today.
That's next week's episode.
That's next week's episode. Join us
Can
next
I
week.
be on that show?
Yes. Big Fish
Yes.
is back next week.
We're seeing.
Oh, you guys' meme wars that you guys have been having
Yes.
building up to this match was great.
How did that start?
That's entertaining.
Because
Because
I
it's
can't remember who started it, but one of them did something, and we were like, "Hey, you do it, then we do it, then you do it, then we do it," kind of deal. And it just escalated so quickly. Like
Some of
first
them
it
were
was
so
like,
good.
someone was like, you know, oh, it's a Wet Dream match, cricket, and then it got to the point where I was doing, you know, the 3 buttons one. It was like end world hunger, have $1 million, or beat the piss out of the Natural.
I
Aces.
love that. I love that one.
And that's a true statement. I mean, there's enough food on the planet. If I get to hit Sam Beal with a chair like that again,
Oh,
I will
yes.
do it again.
We should probably
Absolutely.
talk to somebody about making that happen. I'd like to hit him with a chair too.
That's next week's
I
episode.
tried pitching Sam the idea that I'm the one that handed you the chair, but I didn't know you were going to do the whole fake out thing. But I was like, I should hand it to him because I hate the Aces. So I have a reason to help out the Wet Dream.
Heel Corey's services are available. So if you guys ever find yourself in a position where,
Well, they already have a manager.
well, yeah, I mean,
Yes.
but,
What-
you know,
What's her name? Rudy?
Rudy Jordan.
Rudy Jordan.
She is great.
She is wonderful.
She was in the multi-man match or whatever for the
Yes.
the slot in the Fight for Fortune. Was that what it was?
yeah,
The Fight
it
for
was the
Fortune?
qualifier match.
That was really good.
Yeah.
She's really good.
She is. I know her as Anitra. That's her real name, but Anitra, Rudy Jordan. She is just so great to have around. Not a lot of people know this about her. She's a very good wrestler. her mind for wrestling is amazing because she's been Rockstar Pro Wrestling's head referee for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And,
I think that was actually my
all
first
those big
introduction to her was
matches,
refereeing down at Rockstar.
she's there. So she knows all of her stuff. And she's always with us because her and Winchester are a thing. You know, they're dating. And she goes to all the shows with us, and we'll put our matches together. We'll look at her and see if it's a good idea. She's been in it longer than we have. She knows her
She
stuff.
looked really good with those guys. She was like giving it to them. It was a really entertaining match.
Yep.
So, and I think we filmed that, right? So, Travis?
Yeah.
We filmed that match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that'll be on our next month's showcase. So I'm excited to rewatch that back.
Yeah.
Yep. And as a manager, she's not just, the girl standing at ringside. She'll actually, I'll take a move. She'll, you all right? Or
Yep.
she'll remind us of spots. She'll be like, hey, you're standing on the wrong side of the turnbuckle. Like, she's there literally like a head coach
Like
on
an
the
actual,
sidelines.
like just
Yeah.
actually like helping you guys put on the best match possible.
Yeah, I can't put her over enough, man. She is a godsend for us.
That's awesome.
That's something I noticed right away. I'm like, this girl knows what she's doing.
Now, how did the idea come across to incorporate the three of you guys together as the incarnation of the wet dream that we see now at NW shows?
Well, concerning Anitra with getting bookings and stuff, one big problem she has is a lot of promoters know her as the very good. She's actually one of the best referees in the Midwest. She doesn't just go out and count 1, 2, 3. She's used to using the earpiece and changing finishes and stuff like that. Right. She's used to that. So a lot of people will be like, we don't have a spot for you as a wrestler. Like, I've never seen you wrestle before, but you want to put on the stripes? And for as talented as she is as a wrestler, I'm like, eh. So with us trying to get into Robert's ear at NOW, that wasn't even planned that she was going to be in that 4-way match. We told him, like, hey, let her wrestle. And she's managing us, which we hope to do on a broader spectrum in more places. Mm-hmm. But basically the idea to include her was to get her out there more. Because she needs that.
So the
world needs to see what she has to offer.
But as an in-ring
as an actual
yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
So speaking of in-ring, I want to kind of get a little bit of background into yourself and your training and what part of your life kind of made you decide that professional wrestling was something you wanted to explore.
That's an interesting question.
I always like hearing people's like origin stories.
3 or 4 years ago, I would have never thought I'd been a wrestler. I didn't even think that was something that normal people did until I was, screwing around on the WWE network and I was watching the Beyond the Ring movies. And I was like, these guys, I mean, half of them, I was in the NFL, now I'm a wrestler, or I'm a Samoan person's son or something like that. But
some locks to become professional wrestlers there.
Yeah, and then I saw the CM Punk documentary and I was like, he was a normal guy. I might try it. So I got on the internet and I looked up schools, and for a while I wanted to go to the Team 3D Academy because the Dudley Boys.
They run that out. They run that out of.
They're in Florida somewhere. Yeah, but then I found the Ohio Pro Wrestling Academy. At the time, was known as Central Ohio Pro Wrestling Academy, I believe, with James Avery, formerly known as Carlton Kaz, Tommy Chill and Cyrus Poe, and Anthony Gossett down there. And I went in there with those guys, top-notch trainers. Mm-hmm. Everything you need to know to start out. You don't go in there to learn how to do a double Canadian destroyer or something like that. But everything you need to start and then learning on the road, those are, in my opinion, the guys to go to. Nice. Yep. But when I was a kid, I wanted to be a wrestler. And then the Super Cena era.
Yeah.
The
kind of like from like 2006 to like 2010-ish.
Like the guest host era of Raw and stuff. Oh, yeah. Plus, I was a teenager in high school, and it wasn't too cool for the ladies, even though I didn't care much for what cool was. I was the sousaphone player in the marching band. But I kind of fell out of wrestling, and then I'd always keep up on champions and stuff because I always had to make sure my dude Kane was up there.
Oh, yes. Give me a knuckle on that.
Yes.
Kane is my all-time favorite wrestler.
But one day I decided, you know what? I want to do something I like for a change. So I went and I trained, and I haven't looked back since. I love wrestling, man.
So I'm a little my biggest takeaway from that, besides the fact that obviously you have a great fandom and a great appreciation of professional wrestling, we could have at one point had you been Big Suze, the sousaphone playing wrestler, and not Big Fish.
No. I was in band for the trips, and my friends, for some reason, like I hung out with the band kids in high school. They were pretty cool. I didn't blend in with the jock crowd too much, even though they tried to recruit me for the football team 17 times because, you know, I'm so swole.
That's true.
But I was there for the trips and whatnot. I never took it home with me, but I played the baritone, which is that one thing in between the sousaphone and the trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid who played the sousaphone quit because I stole his girlfriend. But besides the point. Yeah, band nerd drama.
Whoa.
But I ended up playing that thing because I could carry it. Was basically it. I couldn't even read the music.
We gotta change the.
You couldn't read the music?
No, because there's two different styles. There's treble clef and bass clef, and I knew how to read treble clef.
You didn't know how to read bass clef?
No, dude, it was like teaching Helen Keller how to do anything.
Oh no, so bad.
Wow.
I might be related.
But you got a girlfriend out of the situation, so that was kind of cool.
For the time
Are you guys still together?
No.
Did it work out?
I mean, for 16-year-old Fishy, it did. I tell you that much.
16-year-old. Tell us about 16-year-old Fishy. What was he like?
We don't need to know.
He fished a lot. He worked on boats a lot. Mm-hmm. That's basically what that kid did.
So, and that obviously lent itself to now the Big Fish gimmick that we essentially work now.
Yeah, it's crazy that I actually ended up with that gimmick. You wouldn't believe the stuff I was going to be before this.
What? Yeah.
I was saying,
were you any other gimmicks before this that you actually wrestled as, or have you always had the big? I could have swore you were something different, weren't you?
No, I was, as a wrestler, I've always been Big Fish Rembowski. But before that, when I was in training, I was like, man, I want to do this crazy man in a mask gimmick because I love Mick Foley so much. I want to rock back and forth. And blah, blah, blah. And then I started going to shows when I was training. I was like, man, there's 5 of these guys at every promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too believable, so I dropped it. And then my created character on No Mercy was always, what the hell was his name? Mark Mayhem. I was like, I'm going to wear black jeans and hit people with trash cans. I'm going to be tough, like Steve Blackman, but fat.
Yes.
That was just awful idea. But one day I was fishing, I got pissed off that I think I lost my lure or something. I just swung the pole and I was like, "Oh, this is money right here."
Yeah.
And it's me, you know. It's not too far from me. The only difference between me and the Big Fish character is I embellish a lot on social media about how much I drink. I am not that big of a drinker. Like that's completely false.
So explain. If you had to explain, an alien is coming to Earth for the first time,
right?
Going to an NOW show, and he sees the Big Fish character,
right?
How would you explain the Big Fish character? Like, what would be like
to an alien?
Yeah.
Are we assuming the alien knows what fish are?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, it's just basically like, so for the uninitiated, like, what is Big Fish?
He's a fisherman.
He's a fisherman
who drinks a lot.
When I was. Not even that, he's just a fisherman. Like, that part's implied later on once you get invested more. But when I was trained, I was told when you have a gimmick, it's not like people are tuning in every week to watch Raw or SmackDown and they have a backstory on it, like, you know, Kane, he grew up in a house and it was burnt down and he's psychotic and Paul Bear's his dad and all this stuff.
Right.
Me, the only thing for a new fan to know about me, you got to figure out who I am by the time I get to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm holding a fishing pole,
there you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
You know, and there's not a lot to it. I'm the fisherman.
It's clean, though. And the thing I like about it is, like, and you mentioned this previously, every indie promotion has a lot of the same guys who...
Don't get me started.
Yeah, who kind of fit into the same... You have the guy who is the Jeff Hardy kind of wannabe guy. You also have, like, the, you know, this, that, and the other thing. And, you know, it's refreshing for me as a fan to see somebody who takes more than 3 seconds to invest in his character, and because that's what you're doing when you're wrestling. You're your character.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, but there can't be 500 Jeff Hardys across the United States of America.
Right.
The biggest thing I see, and I don't give people a lot of advice in wrestling because I don't believe it's my place. But 6 days from now, I'm actually going to be 2 years in as a wrestler.
Congratulations.
And thank you. But when they do ask me for advice, a lot of times they ask me about, gimmicks and stuff because I'm one of the gimmickiest people you would know. And I tell people, I'm like, literally, just don't be that guy. Stand out, be something different. I can't tell you how many guys, if I went to an indie promotion I've never been to before, never knew any of the guys, I guarantee 50 to 60% of the locker room's gimmick is, I'm a wrestler and I'm tough.
Yeah.
And that drives me absolutely insane. How many guys do I need to see in a black cutoff jacket come out to the ring and do a Canadian Destroyer and a super kick?
Mm-hmm.
You need individuality to stand out.
Right.
And like with my gimmick, take for example, I don't know anybody else doing a fisherman deal. I've seen sailors, I've seen pirates, but
I saw a guy
Never
working at
seen that.
Rockstar once that was a man scout. That was actually fun.
oh yeah,
He's fantastic, by the
yes,
way.
I've seen him a couple times. He is wonderful.
He worked a match against who's their champion right now? It's
John
Murray. Yeah, John Murray Pro.
He is
He
a
worked.
national treasure.
John Murray is absolutely a blessing.
Yes,
And this the Cub Scout, or the Man Scout, I should say, middle of the match, he's got his Scout's manual out there checking to see what kind of moves he can do and all this kind of stuff, and it's just fantastic.
oh yes, he is a man scout.
Yeah.
There's no denying that.
So tell us about some of the different places. You've been wrestling now for almost 2 years, you said.
Yep.
Tell us about some of the different places that wrestling has taken you so far.
Mostly I've been around Ohio. The thing is, I live in Luna Pier, Michigan, which is about a half-hour drive from Detroit, which a lot of people, when they first hear where I'm from, they either assume because I work NOW so much, I'm either an NOW trainee or a House of Truth trainee up in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people think I'd be working more locally with those shows, but I trained down in Columbus with Ohio Pro Wrestling Academy, so all my connects were down there with your XWEs down in Nelsonville, or your RCWs in the Portsmouth area, or DCW in the Springfield area. But so I'd be driving 2 or 3 hours for shows for Southern Ohio to mid to Southern Ohio. But now I'm starting to branch out more. I made it into Indiana with Pro Wrestling King and Extreme Hardcore Federation, Hardcore Championship Wrestling, I think it's called. I did IWA Mid-South once. I did a tryout and I made it. I'm welcome to come back. I just need to find time to pencil in there. I'd actually like to bring the whole Wet Dream down there.
Nice.
There's a lot of tag teams going through there that I need to face. Like
who are some of the teams on your personal checklist?
Number one right now, I want to face the Gym Nasty Boys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen what these two have been doing, but it is amazing.
I like their name.
I don't know if you've heard of him. There's Timmy Lou Retton. He had like a gymnastics kind of gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is White Mike. And White Mike, he's as much of a character as, like, you would enjoy him a lot. He's like a John Murray.
Okay.
He there's a lot of sexual innuendo.
Okay.
Stuff, and they're on a quest for yams, and they're talking about big butts and stuff. And their in-ring work is great. Their comedy is wonderful. And these guys are taking the world by storm right now, just rising up the ranks.
I have to do some homework.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes. They actually just became the IWA Mid-South Tag Team Champions at
Really?
the Candido Cup. Yeah.
Which that was just like, what, last weekend or the week before, I think it was?
I think it was a couple days ago.
A couple days ago.
Or
Yeah, I was
last
going to say that
weekend.
wrapped up pretty recently.
Yep. Another team we'd like to face, the Bomb Shelter. You heard of those guys? Zodiac and his friends there. They're another team. They're rampant throughout the Midwest. They are everywhere. They have a gimmick where they have to restore the timeline, or they become a part of your timeline. They're like a time traveler kind of
So
gimmick.
almost like a Time
Interesting.
Splitters kind
Yeah.
of.
They have
That's another one that sounds interesting. I'd like to check out.
See, and that's
Yes.
what people are getting really
Well,
inventive with their character and their, like, especially on it's
The
starting to
indies,
flood
for
into
sure.
the indie wrestling scene, and you still have like your indie-rific, Canadian Destroyer guys out there, like, that are essentially a dime a dozen.
Yep.
but you have a lot of people who like a John Murray or a Big Fish or, what was it, the Bomb Squad? I think it was what you just said, or
the Bomb Shelter.
The Bomb Shelter.
Yeah.
They're inventing these amazing gimmicks. And I love it.
Yes, lots of creativity.
That's why I like indie wrestling a lot because you can be a lot more adventurous with that, and I like it when guys go with something that is not your average wrestling gimmick.
I heard a story about somebody in, I want to say, and we were talking about this a little bit before we went on air, how I like how indie wrestling is kind of taking our country back to kind of like a territory day, and how they're like different things and different styles of wrestling. And I think we've had this conversation before with other people we've had on the show, but certain styles of wrestling won't get over in certain areas. Like you said earlier, like you basically made the comparison of like, you couldn't do like a Canadian Destroyer and like 30 super kicks somewhere in like Southern Ohio and get over. But the second you come out and hit somebody with a fishing pole, that crowd is popping. You know what I mean? There was a story I heard not too long ago of somebody who was working in, I want to say, kind of like the Kentucky area, like somewhere in like kind of like the mountain region, like Tennessee, Kentucky area, and their gimmick was that they were a progressive liberal.
Oh, that guy. That is
like a Bernie Sanders loving.
The best.
That's so funny.
I think he had gear with Hillary Clinton's face.
Oh, man.
And I was just, it's
that is
comedic gold.
That's genius.
And that's all location, too.
That's genius.
That gimmick would not get over in other parts of the country.
Yeah, like you couldn't do that gimmick in like an indie-rific, you couldn't
New
do
York
that.
City.
Yeah, you couldn't do that in PWG and get yourself over.
Nah.
Like you would have to do that gimmick somewhere where it's going to garner the heat that you're looking for, and people probably ate it up.
Yeah, like one story that's kind of funny. I faced a guy called Tank Runyon in my debut at Revolutionary Championship Wrestling.
I literally just got an image of a guy who looks like Tank Abbott, but maybe slightly shorter.
Nah.
No?
He's actually just like a normal looking guy. But, he's one of the guys that's been there for a while, so the fans really like him, chant Tank and stuff. And he knows that crowd, and they like to work gimmicky. And one of the most over things of the night was the crowd chanting at me that I had a little bobber. Referring
that's so funny
to my little bobber.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get that going at an NOW show.
Oh, absolutely. I'll hit you with the chair this time. I'll turn on you too, man.
I won't do that to you.
But yeah, that they were just so into that, and if I would have grabbed him and hit him with a like Canadian Destroyer, they'd just be like, duh, like what?
What is that? That's not.
They like to be interacted with more.
Right. That's my kind of
That's
crowd
so
that I
great.
want. I want to see more shows in our local area where people. I want to see old school heels coming out. And I don't care if you have to have Hillary Clinton on your trunks or what you're doing. Like I need you to come out and like get this crowd riled up. Like I want to see more crowds like that.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
I actually need to start. I want to start doing more of that stuff up here, because up here is a little more, fight. But the couple times I do that stuff, they love it. Like, were you guys at the Seagate show for NOW?
I was not.
No.
Well, they had me face Johnny Carrazzi, and that's just gimmick all over it. We made half the match about how big his little bobber is. And then I gave him chewing tobacco and super kicked him while the chewing tobacco was in his mouth. It was beef jerky because chew is disgusting.
I'm actually sad I missed this.
But that was, and those weren't even wrestling fans there. That was at a death metal show.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see what wrestling fans, how they react to something cool like that. Like I said, I need to start just becoming more gimmicky, like the bait shop match with Marcus.
Yeah.
Just all the ridiculous things. And that was not a classic by any means. That was like WWF 24/7 hardcore.
Yeah.
Championship.
Stuff all on the turnbuckles all around the ring. And
no control. Just why is this even happening?
But sometimes
kind of fun.
But that's a beautiful thing about professional wrestling. Like, not everything has to be a Meltzer-rated 6-star classic to be entertaining. Like you can have stuff like, because some of the most entertaining wrestling I've ever watched is stuff like from the 24/7 era of like the Hardcore Championship, or like wrestling is more about is less. It's more than just matches.
Yep.
It's the story that you tell in between the matches. And one of the things I like that you were doing, we talked about this earlier, for when you're working these indie promotions and you have to promote a feud that's going on there with you and, say, for example, like the Natural Aces, social media has really kind of like come to the forefront of that, where you guys are cutting promos and uploading them to your Facebook pages, or you're, trading memes back and forth with one another. How do you feel about that and how it kind of fits into your realm for your character?
I'm nothing without social media.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys have seen, I've slowed down recently on those because it's been so cold outside with the winter months, which I should not have. But you remember I used to have all those videos where I was sitting in the office arguing with people on the phone, or I'd be fishing or something. Just funny little videos will get you out there. Like, there's people who are like, oh yeah, Big Fish Rembowski, I've seen your videos and that's so funny. You're talking on the phone. You're pretty cool. You're great. I'm like, oh yeah, have you seen my match? I've never seen any of your matches. I don't even know if you're a good wrestler, but you're funny.
Yeah, you got that going for you.
Yeah, and those Facebook videos, they'll get you so much because anybody can see it. Everybody can see it.
Right.
It's such a platform for yourself to get on that a lot of people didn't have years ago. Mm-hmm. And like the Wet Dream, we do the stupid videos where the car rides where we're obviously not moving and stuff like that. But as far as social media goes and promos, just post. Make yourself stand out. Mm-hmm. I honestly don't know what to tell guys who don't use their social media.
Yeah, right. We've had like instances with wrestlers before that, not that we've been in personal contact with, but where we're doing stuff with them, that you have almost like little to no social media presence, and it's just like, in this day and age, especially with the way indie shows are promoted anymore, you really need that platform to kind of like reach your audience, and not to mention that, but potentially reach other promoters and other territories and stuff like that might want to bring you in.
You're selling yourself on social media there.
I'm just happy that we finally have a Big Fish match on an actual ASL NOW showcase that we're going to be able to present to you. Yeah,
they won the match.
Did win.
Yeah, so you're 1 for 1 on ASL NOW showcases.
There's not very many people who can say that.
Never film any of my matches again. I will be undefeated.
You're going to go down as the only undefeated man in ASL NOW history.
Sounds right.
Yeah,
sounds right.
I can't wait.
I was actually excited for that because I really like how you guys present it. The names of the wrestlers on the little thing
and all that stuff.
It's real to me, damn it, when I watch it. You know what I mean?
Well, and that was kind of like the idea going into the relationship that we have with NOW, producing the videos and stuff like that. Like, I'm a huge fan of watching wrestling as an entertainment medium. Like, I just really like watching. I'll watch episodes of like WCW Thunder now that it's on the network. I'll just watch them sequentially.
Yep. And
just watch it for the story that kind of like goes from episode to episode. So if you watch wrestling like that, it becomes, in my opinion, infinitely more entertaining.
You get invested.
You get invested and you become a part of the narrative.
Right.
And that's what I like to think that we're doing in terms of like with the NOW. We're giving it the presentation. We're giving it the feel on commentary. Kayfabe is very much still alive. So if you guys are listening to this and I've spoiled some things about you by saying people's real names, I apologize. But, for me, it's, I take a lot of heavy inspiration when we do those from like WCW Thunder and stuff like that. Like even the last show, like I got up on a chair to film stuff because I saw a cameraman on Thunder, like seeing on a little platform that was next to the ring. Yeah. Yeah, small little stuff like that.
We'll see how it turns out.
So it's pretty good so far, Joe. You've already combed the footage a little bit. If you guys are checking this out, get ready. I think Uprising 17 should be ready to go the next day or two.
Yeah, hopefully tomorrow.
And then Uprising 18 should be shortly thereafter. So we'll have that feature out very, 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 very soon. So
the chair shot heard around the world.
Yes.
The day Toledo lost its smile.
Oh, man. Sam was so upset that I loved that video. I put a heart on it. He's like, I hate you.
I can't wait to see what you guys do with it, because one of my favorite things that I've seen coming out of us putting our footage out there, and one of the other, besides creating like the story element to things, I love giving Big Fish or the Natural Aces or Dre Jacobs or any member of the NOW roster who we have filmed your stuff, use that footage.
Oh, yes.
Use it to put it out there in the world, remix it, maybe a little link to us wouldn't hurt or anything like that, but
just gotta put that audio suplex spinning thing in the bottom corner.
But I like the fact that we're giving like a lot of these guys coming out of Northwest Ohio Wrestling something to kind of like present and share
Yep.
to their people as well. So
Yep.
nice.
It's actually, thank you guys for all you do, though, there. Seriously.
Listen. I know it just took like 15 minutes to put ourselves over for a little bit, but that's not what we're here for, man. We're here to put you over. So
It's your show, man.
yeah, but you're the guest. You're the guest of honor. You are the Big Fish.
That is true.
Where let's put you over a little bit more. Where can people find you on the internet? So do you have like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Zanga, Tumblr?
Well, you can find me in the personals on Craigslist.
Misconnections
all over.
You can hire me for $20, $50. I'll come over to your house and suplex you. No, you'll find me on.
Are you bringing the little bobber with you or no?
It always
That's
goes
gonna
with
cost more. I could bring the whole tackle box. You know
Whoa.
what I'm saying?
For the right price.
I also do bass to mouth.
Bass to mouth.
Bass to mouth.
Okay.
Have you incorporated that into a match yet?
Bass to mouth?
We're gonna let's take this under the treetop. Have you?
I had an idea where maybe I do like a stink face maneuver and call it that, but I think I'm just gonna call my cannonball that.
The bass to
The
mouth.
bass to mouth.
Bass to mouth.
We're gonna take this off the treetops because I got a really good idea. I'm gonna pitch you right after the show here, and I don't want anybody else to hear it before I give it to you. But I got an idea for you, man.
How are you with full frontal nudity? Your backside will be covered.
But your little bobber might be out.
Your
there.
bobber might be bobbing.
Have you seen Uprising 19? Best movie ever. Dude hangs dong.
Dude hangs on.
But where you can find me on social media, Facebook. On Facebook, I have 2 pages. I'm Big Fish Rembowski. Not a lot of things I do in there. Big Fish Rembowski, one word, Big Fish. It's just like a person you can add as a friend. I do a lot on that one. Instagram at Big Fish Wrestling. You'll see a lot. I'm on Instagram a lot. Twitter at Real Big Fish. And then also Wet Dream has their own social media as well.
Really?
Yep, on Twitter and Instagram, we're both at Wet Dream Tag Team, which just has an amazing ring to it.
Make sure you put tag team on there.
You might get some unsavory results if you forget to put the tag.
Results are results, man.
That's true.
Like, not gonna lie. We're also on Facebook as The Wet Dream. We're all over social media.
Nice.
I mean, I make it a point to post a couple times a day on both of our pages.
Kind of keep the momentum rolling, keep people engaged.
Yep.
Have you gotten any weird interactions on social media from something you posted or?
No, but there is one guy. It's not. There's no way. The dudes, and I bet a lot of other local wrestlers know exactly who I'm talking about. But there's a profile on Facebook called John Wrestler. I think it's called John Wrestler. It's this guy from Brazil. And he messaged me. He's like, how much for you to wrestle somebody? And I'm like, what, you own a promotion? What's up? Like, tell me where it is and I'll figure out travel and all that. And we can talk. And he goes, oh, it'll be at my house. And I'm like, what? And so I click on the guy's profile. And whenever fans add me on Facebook, I always add them right back because you'll see my t-shirts, you'll see all the things you need to buy, your Big Fish gear, which real plug real quick, these right here, the new Big Fish Rembowski t-shirts, hit me up because these are amazing.
They're gold.
Yes. I predict actually by the time that this episode goes off the air, they're going to be sold out.
They might be. Get on there now.
ProWrestlingTees.com.
Are they on there?
Yes, the Big Fish Rembowski store.
That's what we need to be plugging, man. We brought you on here to get paid.
That's right.
So,
as I was saying, though, John Wrestler. So I look at his profile. It's this dude who lives in Brazil. And it's like man-on-man wrestling porn.
Oh.
Yeah. So I look, and it's 2 guys in a bed. They're not naked. They're in actual wrestling gear. One has a lucha mask on. It looks like something from the 70s. And he's got him in a triangle choke with, like, it's so provocative. It's like, his little bobbers just resting on his
bobbers
forehead.
there,
his bobbers, yeah.
And there's actually commentary to it, like, I don't know, the great wrestlerino has got him in the chokehold, and he's dying to get out of it, but you could tell it was like a fetish thing.
Where's the link to that? What's the link to that?
Dude, his name,
John Wrestler coming up
Corey,
right now.
look that up in your own time, man. Come on, this is a PG-esque show.
Esque, very esque. Yeah, that.
If I know Joe, he's ready to throw it up on the screen here.
Nope.
for us.
Joe has got a very strict non-Brazilian wrestling porn policy.
Dang.
There's actually a sign out front of the studio that literally states "No Brazilian wrestling porn in the podcast studio."
Not after last time.
Not under Joe's jurisdiction.
You won't get me again.
Oh, fool me 3 times, shame on me.
Brazilian wrestling porn again. Travis. Classic folly.
Oh, jeez.
Oh Lord. So what's the next for Big Fish? What's the next for the Wet Dream? I know you guys are NOW Tag Team Champions.
Oh yes.
We taking the show on the road a little bit?
Yeah, we were given the go ahead by JJ Castillo, quote unquote Robert,
Shouts out.
to defend those titles anywhere.
Really?
Yes, and I'd like to bring some prestige to it. You know, traveling champions, like you said, territory era.
Yeah,
back.
Heck yeah.
absolutely.
That'd be cool to bring some titles around, get noticed on that company a little more, add a little more prestige. Plus, seeing us with some gold around our waist, that doesn't hurt anybody.
And
Absolutely.
it also helps the NOW brand as well. It gets the name
Exactly.
out there, lets the guys know that you're working with at these other shows. Hey, if you guys are ever in the Toledo area, you want to work a show,
Come on over.
and you can you're out there scouting. I see what you're doing, man. The Big Fish is throwing
Reeling
out some.
them in.
I mean,
he's reeling them in.
As much as I'd love to get booked to beat up the Natural Aces for the next calendar year.
You know, I would like that too.
How did you guys not make that meme calendar today? Beat up the Natural Aces. Tomorrow, beat up the Natural Aces. Beat up the Natural Aces. Just beat up the Natural Aces.
Well,
There's an idea.
there are people on the Facebook chat here saying about trying to get a match going at Beer Stew.
A match at the Beer Stew.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
we got you.
Well, we'd have to figure that out. It'd have to be out in the parking lot. The ceilings are a little low.
You
might
guys
have to-
versus the Aces?
We did talk about
Yeah.
it though.
Wait, you guys
No,
or us?
no, Ace has been like chatting.
Oh, Ace Miles is in the chat room right now talking about.
Oh, Nicholas, what's up?
Oh man, former WWE Tag Team Champion.
I know,
Nicholas.
man,
It's
that
kinda cool to have him
scheduling
in the,
conflict.
yeah, it's kind of cool to have him in the chat here. Yeah, so you guys are gonna move around a little bit, take the belts with you, kind of get some sheen on them a little bit.
Yep, we're starting to get ingrained a little more into the tri-state area. Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana. We just debuted, like I was telling you before the show, up at Detroit Style Wrestling in Detroit and XICW in Detroit.
Nice.
That was 2 good things for us to get a foothold in Michigan. We've been to Indiana a couple times. I'd like to get all over that state more.
That's one of
Ohio,
those.
besides the Cleveland area,
Boo,
we're
Cleveland.
getting around.
Right? No.
Go Indians. Go Tribe.
Oh,
But
You a Browns fan too?
no.
you're a Lions.
I'm a
fan?
Dolphins fan. I'm
Dolphins
sadder.
fan, yeah.
I'm even sadder.
Interesting.
But yeah, we're just trying to go everywhere we can, anywhere we can. Like even last year, we weren't a tag team yet, but I even went down to a show in Georgia with Robert and Chambers in Pennsylvania. I'll go wherever
Yeah.
they'll need us.
Have rods will travel.
Yes.
Now, do you have a? I gotta ask. Do you have a specific rod that's like your gimmick rod that you bring out to the ring with you, or?
I make sure it's the ones I don't use.
Good point.
Like I've never went to the store and said I'm buying this fishing pole for wrestling. I just have so many fishing poles in my garage. I'm like, well, what's the oldest, crappiest one? I'll use that one.
This is the
And
one.
a little trick of the business here. I'm exposing myself. If you watch
Putting
a
a
lot of
little
my
bobber out there,
matches
you know.
on YouTube, a lot of my matches, someone breaks my fishing pole and I get pissed. That fishing pole has been broken so many times. It's been the same. You know, they just pull apart. Just pull it apart and act like you broke it. I mean, it's just an ugly stick. You can get it for probably $20 at Walmart. It's nothing special. I mean, there is blood, sweat, and tears, and probably scales from a ton of minnows, which is probably disgusting to hit somebody with. But it's just a regular old fishing pole.
I like it. Well, awesome. Cora, do you have any additional questions we want to get on the table here for Mr. Big Fish Rembowski?
The big question I usually ask is what your favorite wrestler is, but I think you said Kane is your favorite wrestler.
When I was a
When you were
kid, yes.
Yeah. Okay. What about now?
Right now, my favorite wrestler, most entertaining to watch. You talking like WWE or anywhere?
Anywhere. Just say favorite wrestler.
This is something we ask everybody.
I was talking about those Gymnasty boys earlier.
Yeah.
Anything I see with White Mike in it,
White Mike.
White Mike. Look
With a
that
name
guy
like
up.
White Mike,
gonna
how
look it
could
up.
you not?
That guy. Everything I see from him, I pop for.
Nice.
Amazingly. Like you said, Kane was my guy back in the day. If Kane's older now, and he's gonna be a mayor. Vote for Glenn Jacobs, people.
That's
I'm
right.
telling
Knox
you.
absolutely.
County.
Glenn Jacobs for
I'm
mayor of
telling
Knox
you.
County. He'll rule. He'll usher in hellfire and brimstone into the political scene down there. I can't wait for it.
And he will set all others on fire.
Let's go.
Yes.
But yeah, Kane was my dude growing up, just because. I mean, look at the guy.
He's huge.
That was my first exposure to actual watch wrestling. Besides, I played Warzone, Revenge,
Right.
WrestleMania 2000 with my brother and stuff growing up.
Fair to say, if you were more of a WWF guy than a WCW guy.
I didn't have cable, so I had to be. All I had was SmackDown on Thursdays. But one day, my dad brought home a VHS tape where someone taped Raw, and the first thing I saw was a stage explode, and this giant dude in a red mask came out, and I'm like, "That's the one."
That guy's pretty
Look
cool.
at this guy.
That was me with like Crow Sting back in 1997. Still distinctly remember seeing Crow Sting for the first time. Just like, yep, that's cool. That's super
WCW
cool.
sucks.
Yeah, well, whatever.
And over time, I became a Bubba Ray Dudley guy.
Nice.
Fantastic.
If you watch any of my
Yeah.
matches, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's where he got that."
Yeah,
Like a lot of my stuff.
I knew I recognized it. I knew I saw
I knew
it there.
you'd come.
All right. Well, that is going to probably wrap it up for this
That's it.
episode of Audio Suplex Live. What else we got going on before we get out of here? We got Monday Night Stoop coming up again this Monday night. And then May 6th, we have WWE Backlash at the Beer Stube. If you're not doing anything, even if you're doing something, cancel your plans. Come out to the Beer Stube. Come
Free
hang
to
out with us.
watch.
Yeah.
Not free to drink or eat, but you can watch for free.
But there are food and drink specials to keep your belly full and your whistle
Belly
wetted
full.
throughout the entirety of what should be a pretty good show. Backlash is shaping up to be pretty good.
Yep.
I like it. So, on top of that, we'll be back in another couple weeks here with a new episode of Audio Suplex Live. Not really ready to announce what we're doing for that one, but I'm sure it'll be something
Super special.
something super special. We'll cook something up for you. Maybe Big Fish will have a couple of ideas, or get the Aces in here. We'll just have a beat up the natural Aces.
Live in studio.
Live in
We'll
studio.
do a studio match.
Every we'll set up a Patreon. Every time you pledge $5, we smack one of them.
That's a good
You
idea,
know how much
too.
money I would make?
Tons.
Hopefully.
Tons.
So much.
I'd smack him for
That's
free.
a promo I would watch you cut.
Oh,
Ace Miles is my least favorite wrestler. That's how I would like to close the show.
On that note, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you again to Big Fish Rembowski. Thank you, Joe, for being the best producer in the business. And we will see you guys very shortly.
Hey, this is Joe, producer of Audio Suplex Live. We'd like to give a shout out to the band Wax for intro and outro music. Make sure you check them out at the link below.
You've been listening to the Nerd Complex Podcast Network.